Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And today's video is all about the top 9 best keto sweeteners. And I know you wanted to hear about it because on my previous video, I did the 9 worst keto sweeteners. And you guys kept saying to me, when are you going to give me the best ones? I want to know what I'm supposed to be using. So here it is. This is it. Okay, so we're going to be going over this. Now, just so you know, this is all about the keto sweeteners. So don't write to me and say, hey, what about maple syrup? What about honey? I heard they have a lot of nutrients and vitamins and minerals and so on. They do, okay? They're probably very good for the paleo diet, but they're just not keto friendly. We're going to be talking about what are the best ways to choose a sweetener on the keto diet. So you want to make sure also you watch to the end, because at the very end I'm going to be talking about the top 3 commercial sweeteners that people are using right now, and I want you to know the benefits and the drawbacks of those, so watch to the very end. And as always, if you like our content, you like this information, please make sure you like, you share, you comment, and subscribe. So thanks so much for being part of our team. Anyway, let's dive right on in. So how do we choose the best sweeteners? Well, one thing I always tend to look at, is it a natural sweetener? Now, you know from my previous video where I talked about the worst ones is that you don't want to use artificial sweeteners. They're just all chemicals. There's all kinds of garbage. They're tied to brain tumors, seizures, and all kinds of other major health issues. So I always look to make sure that they're made from natural sugars and that they're derived from plants and other natural products. So whether they come from vegetables, root vegetables, sugars, starches, you want to make sure it's coming from that. Also, too, you want to make sure they're either that natural sugar or sugar alcohol. Now, sugar alcohols are mainly from starches and sugars that are given enzymes and broken down. Now, the great thing about some of these is that, number one, they are natural, but number two, they're very undigestible. And because they're undigestible, they tend to go through your digestive tract. And many times they're 0 calorie, 0 glycemic index, and they really don't affect the body at all. Now, sometimes, as it says over here, you can get some gastrointestinal discomfort. So you want to watch out for that. Choose the one that works best for you, and I'm going to go over some of the ones that you typically see more GI discomfort with and some of the better ones. So once again, watch to the very end. Now, one of the other things we're going to be looking at in choosing the best natural sweeteners for the ketogenic diet is the glycemic index. Glycemic index measures how much load or how much of an insulin spike and how much the blood sugar is raised with a particular food. So you want to keep this as low as possible. You want to stay in a range of 0, 1, 2, 3, maybe as high as 10 in some situations, but you want to keep it very, very low. Also, too, you want to make sure your net carbs are low. Net carbs, once again, are determined by taking the total carbs and subtracting out the fiber. So because these sweeteners have a lot of fiber in it, once again, they're really kind of grown from starches or processed from starches, they tend to have a high fiber content, and because of that, they keep the net carbs low. So once again, net carbs is total carbs minus fiber is equal to net carbs. Now, next. So number 1 is going to be stevia. Stevia is obviously going to be one of the top choices, and you're going to find at the very end that many of the products that we're going to be talking about use stevia as one of its bases. Glycemic index is 0, it's low calorie, it's natural, it's from the stevia leaf, so it's basically, as long as it's processed cleanly, it's basically a one ingredient product. There's not a lot of different commercialization, there's not a lot of products added to it, it's one thing, stevia leaf. So that makes it really, really good. Low net carbs, make sure it's pure, but it's very sweet. It's about 200 to 400 times sweeter than regular sugar, so you want to account for that if you're using it in cooking. Now, some of the downsides of it has a little bit of an aftertaste. Some people say it tastes more like licorice, so just be aware of that. Choose the brand that you like the best. Some of them actually have a little bit of vanilla extract added to it, so it's got a vanilla taste or vanilla flavor. It hides the taste a little bit, and some different brands don't have so much of the aftertaste. But stevia is definitely going to be one of your most obvious choices. Next is erythritol. Erythritol is always going to be one of your best choices because the glycemic index of it is virtually 0, low calorie, low net carbs. You want to make sure, though, that it's non-GMO because some of the sourcing, it may come from GMO crops, and you want to make sure that the crops are not GMO. It can cause a little bit, a tiny bit of gastrointestinal distress if you do take too much, but overall it's very, very good, very clean, and very easy to use, and you're going to love it. It doesn't have much of an aftertaste at all, unlike stevia. So this is a great one to use. Monk fruit. Now, monk fruit's been used for centuries. In fact, it's really called Lo Han Guo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You guys can probably let me know. It's another natural sweetener. Now, its glycemic index is also 0, so it's excellent for this. 0 calories, 300 to 400 times sugar. But here's one of the great benefits. It's got antioxidant properties. So you definitely want to add this one in. And there's so many different varieties out there. You see so many different products on the market that have monk fruit in it. That's typically the way it's labeled. It's not labeled the other name. So this is a fantastic one. I highly, highly recommend monk fruit. Doesn't have much of a flavor at all, yet it's very sweet. So it blends really well with your cooking. If you want to put it in your coffee, it's excellent, outstanding for that. So I highly recommend monk fruit. Next one is one that I have to admit I've never tried, but in looking up the research for this video, it was one that kept coming up, and that is UConn, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, UConn Syrup. Now, UConn Syrup is made from the root of the UConn plant. Its glycemic index is 1, so it's also very, very low. It's not going to spike your blood sugar, keeps your blood sugar down. And one of the things we talked about in the previous video is anytime you spike your blood sugar, you secrete insulin. So this is one of the main reasons why you don't want to do that, because when you secrete insulin, you stop burning fat. Your body goes anabolic rather than catabolic. You start storing. So anytime you spike your blood sugar, your body stores it, and you will bring your keto weight loss to a screeching halt. So anyway, doesn't affect blood sugar, and this is very good for prebiotic bacteria in the gut. So because it comes from the root, it's got a lot of great fiber to it. So this is really good as a prebiotic food for the bacteria in your gut. So it's very, very gut friendly. So this is a great one to use. And just like this, it comes in a very dark syrup. Now, here's another one that, once again, I have to admit I have not used. It's called Inulin. Now, not insulin, but Inulin. And Inulin is once again found in chicory, it's found in asparagus, it's found in bananas. So this is a natural sugar. Basically, they then take it, its glycemic index is 0, low net carbs. Now, it is not as sweet as sugar. It's about 1/10 as sweet as sugar, so you have to raise it up a little bit. But then again, you know, one thing I want to express with the ketogenic diet is you really want to get out of that where you're craving sweets all the time. So you don't want to have where you're just throwing all kinds of different sweeteners that we're talking about into your diet, because there is an effect where if your body senses sweet or you taste something that's sweet, you can still get, research shows, somewhat of an insulin response. So you want to be very careful not to always be dependent on the sweet. So this could be a really good addition. Now, Xylitol is next. Now, I will tell you, Xylitol is not one of the best ones, so I was a little reluctant to put this on the 9 best list, because Xylitol really has a pretty high glycemic index when it comes to sugar alcohols. Where the other ones we talked about are anywhere from a 0 or a 1, this one's upwards of 12. It does cause gastrointestinal discomfort. So when you bring, you know, obviously when you use it, you may notice you get a little rumbly and you're tumbly there. So be very careful with this one. Go low and slow with it. Be very careful and easy with it, because it can cause a lot of bloating, a lot of gas, and some rumbling in your intestines there. So go easy with it. It could also cause diarrhea. So just watch out for it. It's not one of the best choices, but you know, when you're comparing it to the ones we did last week, it's a lot better than those. Now, as I said before, I want to go over 3 products now that are more commercial. In other words, there's more ingredients in this. They're a little bit more processed, but they're becoming very, very popular. So I wanted to address these so that way we got some clarification. So the first one is Truvia. Now, Truvia is made from 2 things. It's made from erythritol and it's made from stevia. Here's the problem, though. The erythritol is obviously very good, but the stevia that it uses is not very good. Now, it doesn't mean it's bad, it doesn't mean it's horrible, it just means it's a little misleading, because it always says that it's made from the stevia leaf. The reality is, there's 2 components to the stevia leaf. You have something called rubidioside and stevioside. It doesn't have any stevioside in it. It's really just the rubidioside. And the rubidioside is the one that's not as nutritious as the stevioside. The stevioside is the one that has really all the health benefits to it. So even though it's sweet, The rhodiocyte is not the one that says healthy, so it's a little misleading in that it says that it's from the stevia plant when it's really not the best part of the stevia plant. At least that's what the sources I've read say. Now, one thing I will tell you straight up front is that I'm going by what the manufacturer said and really what other people say. Unless you're doing your research yourself, unless you have a chemical laboratory and you're testing all of this yourself, there's really no way to know definitively. But is Truvia safe? I think it is. I haven't seen anything that says it's not. And once again, if it's made from stevia, even though maybe not the best part, and erythritol, it's okay. It's 0 calorie, and it doesn't raise your blood sugar, so that's exactly what you want. So would I use Truvia? I think it would be something I could use, absolutely. So you could feel free to use it too. Now the next one I want to talk about is Swerve. Swerve, once again, every time you turn around, there's more and more of these products coming out of the woodwork. So anyway, Swerve is made once again from erythritol. We see a common thread here. Erythritol seems to be a very popular one because it's excellent. So once again, you may just want to use this yourself and take some erythritol and some stevia and put it together and make this yourself. But anyway, Swerve is made from erythritol and oligosaccharides. Now, what oligosaccharides are is root vegetables that have been given enzymes to break it down. So now you have this fiber. And the fiber, the great thing about it is that it's basically non-digestible. So it's good for the gut. Once again, it's very healthy. It's a prebiotic for the gut. And it passes through undigested. So as a result, it's 0 calorie, doesn't, raise the blood sugar, and it's also gut friendly. It's gut healthy. So would I say Swerve is something that you can use? It is, but here's one thing about it that they don't tell you. They don't tell you what the root vegetables that they use to make the oligosaccharides, and they don't tell you what the natural flavors are. They don't tell you if these natural flavors are really healthy or not, that they're trying to get it to taste more like table sugar. So once again, I'm going by what the manufacturers say. If this is something that would I use? I think so. I could probably try it out, see how I do on it. If I check my blood sugar levels and they don't get raised up at all, then it's something I would continue to use. So this, I feel, is safe to use. Once again, a lot of these, if you're wondering about this, I'm going to be putting the links down below so you can get some of these, especially if you're outside the country and you can't get a hold of these. I'll be giving you the links to where you can go ahead online and get some of these. The last one I want to talk about is Pure. Pure, once again, it's a blend. Now here's the thing. This one claims to be the finest and the first organic blend of the best, as if the other ones weren't, the best erythritol and the best stevia. So once again, their claim to fame is that they are all organic and it's the best sources of erythritol and the best sources of stevia. So that's their claim to fame. Once again, 0 calorie and it doesn't raise blood sugar. So would I use Pure? If what the manufacturer says is right and it tastes good, and I'll tell you what, that's probably one of the biggest things that you want to go by also too is what we talked about earlier, making sure that it's healthy, that it's natural, that it's from clean sources, that it's a natural sugar, not an artificial sugar, doesn't raise your blood sugar, keeps your net carbs low, everything we talked about in the beginning. But taste matters. You want to make sure it tastes good. So taste a lot of these. You may find that certain ones work best in baking and certain ones work best maybe in your coffee and other ones don't. So test it for yourself and see what works best for you. So anyway, I hope you like the information. If you do, please make sure you know what to do. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Once again, I thank you so much for being here with me today. This is Dr. Nick. God bless. I will see you soon on the next video. Bye-bye.